HarmonyOS is not going global in 2026. I know a lot of you are hoping it will. It's one of the most common questions I get on this channel. And honestly, I'm hoping for it too. But I just spent 2-3 months trying to actually ship an app on it. And after what I went through, I just don't see it happening this year. Let me show you why. This is Mongi, 18 daily puzzles across words, numbers and colors. I built it natively in ArcTS, meaning the HarmonyOS version isn't the port, it's the original. And as of this month, it's live on App Gallery, the App Store and Google Play. Shipping it taught me something nobody is really talking about. There's a massive gap between HarmonyOS in China and HarmonyOS for the rest of the world. And the people saying HarmonyOS goes global in 2026, I don't think they actually tried to ship an app on it. I have, so let me show you what I found. Quick context, I'm Bob. I live in China and I've been making videos about HarmonyOS on this channel for over a year. I genuinely want HarmonyOS to succeed. Mongi is my third HarmonyOS app. The first two was more like test apps. I wanted to see how the review process went and figure out how to develop for HarmonyOS. Both of these apps was released under my wife's name, who is a Chinese citizen. I published both of those under the Chinese App Gallery. That is the path of least resistance. This time I want to do it for real. A full app with monetization on the International App Gallery track in my own company's name. And that's when everything you're about to see started going wrong. The original plan for Mongi was simple. 100% Huawei. Native ArcTS code, cloud functions for the backend, Cloud DB for the data, monetized through App Gallery, a showcase for what HarmonyOS development can actually be. Development on the Chinese cloud worked great, but I can't release in China. No game ISBN as a foreigner. And almost none of my users will be Chinese anyway. So I migrated to the global cloud region in Germany. Then everything broke. Every cloud function returned error, even Huawei's own demo code. I spent 8 hours debugging, opened a support ticket. 5 days later, the actual answer came back. So given this answer, I decided let's just move to Firebase instead. And here's the thing. Once I had moved away from the Huawei stack onto Firebase, there was really no reason for me not to port this app to Android and iOS as well. I was just sitting here now, waiting for the review. Those platforms were never in the original plan, but why not? The backend is the same. I might as well just port it while I wait for the review. So now Mongi is ready. Native ArcTS on Firebase, 3 platforms, and I submitted to the global app gallery. Pre-review estimate 30 to 40 minutes. 1 week later, it's still sitting in pre-review, so I message support and reply is this. So I select Chinese mainland and the system immediately blocks it, because to release a game in China you need an ISBN, a government issued license number. And as a foreign developer, I simply can't get one. I tell support exactly that, and their fix. The fix for a foreign developer who can't get a license number was make one up. Put a fake number and a fake screenshot into a government regulated field. And they'll quietly handle it in the backend. They rather I lie to the system than they fix the system. So I push back. I explain I'm an Estonian company releasing to a global audience, not China. And this time the reply is. Except that's not quite true, because there is an app called Clashbox. It's a VPN app, a native HarmonyOS app, and it's sitting right there on the international app gallery, not in the Chinese one, the international one. So overseas publishing clearly works, the channel exists, it just doesn't exist for someone like me. And to be clear, Clashbox, the app I kept pointing at, is a VPN. That license requirement only applies to games, so Clashbox never hit this wall at all. The international store obviously works. Apps are on it. There's just no honest path if you want to develop a game as a foreigner, like me. The only option that anyone offered was to fake it. The first 2 times I submitted, I got rejected because I hadn't integrated Game Service Kit, Huawei's SDK for game features. Fair enough, except same OS, same gesture. Game Center is installed and enabled on both phones, but on the Estonian account I can't log in. There is no path for a non-Chinese account to verify with Huawei's Game Center. That's what you're looking at on the right. And here's the catch. The reviewers want me to call verify local player to prove I've integrated their SDK properly. But if I just call it unconditionally, the function fails for any non-Chinese account. And a failed verify blocks the game from launching. So my app would crash on startup for every user outside of China. So I had to write a region detection switch. Game Service Kit will be on for the Chinese reviewers, but off for everyone outside the China region. If I didn't do that, the Chinese reviewers would not be happy that Game Service Kit was not implemented correctly. But if I don't have the switch, the app will crash for everyone who is not a Chinese user region account. So here's how the story actually ends. After everything I just talked to you about, the reactions, submit any license ID, the Game Center workaround, the China-based review team tried to log into my app and test it, and they couldn't. Because the backend is on Firebase, which is blocked from China without a VPN. So I had to explain to the team reviewing it that in order to test my app, you're going to need a VPN. Otherwise, you won't be able to access the backend. And this is the thing that I think is like the biggest insight in this video, is that it really means that all HarmonyOS apps, the entire review team for the global app gallery, structurally cannot properly review an app which uses some foreign service that is blocked by the Great Firewall. For example, Firebase or Cloudflare or any global infrastructure that is blocked in China. So if your app touches any one of those APIs, they literally cannot review it. And after weeks of all this, one day my app just got approved. No process fix, no explanation, no saying that they used the VPN to log in or whatever. So someone in the backend clearly decided that, this process has gone on too long. So someone, I think, higher up, just, this is embarrassing, let's just approve the app and move on. Okay, fine by me. But I don't think that's a way a publishing platform should work. I think that's just someone getting lazy. Chabudo. Quick break. If you want to actually see the app behind all of this, Mongi is live right now. You can go to mongi.app, or you can just search Mongi in any one of the app stores. Disclaimer, it's not available in the Chinese app stores, but it's available globally for iOS, Android, and HarmonyOS. 18 daily puzzle games, free, no ads yet. Links below. Now back to it. Even if you make it through the review, the payout side has 2 hard rules. 1, your bank account has to be in the same country as your company. 2, only traditional brick and mortar banks. There's no Wise, there's no Payoneer, there's no Revolut. None of the modern fintech accounts most international developers actually use. And when we're looking at this list, the whole approved list for Estonia is about 10 banks. One of them is literally named Dummy Bank. 2 of them are accidental duplicates of the same bank. This is the production payout system for the platform that's supposed to go global. So the HarmonyOS version of Mongi is, for now, proof of concept. The app's there, the code works, the UX is clean. For me personally, my company is in Estonia, my bank account is Belgian, so to get paid, I have to fly back to Estonia, walk into one of these old banks and open a new bank account. And I genuinely don't know if it will actually work in the end after that. So I'll be guessing. So let's add it up. No global review team, confirmed by their own support. No global developer support. 3 days for ticket reply. The unofficial channel is WeChat. Cloud function offline in Europe, it's confirmed. Game Service Kit doesn't authenticate non-Chinese accounts. No documented process for foreign developers. The fix was submit any number and screenshot. No payouts to Wise, Payoneer or Revolut. No documentation for global ads. And no truly independent international app gallery. It's the China app gallery with a different label. Now, I want to be clear about what comes next. There is no official 2026 rollout schedule from Huawei, so what I'm about to say is just my own speculation. Based on the developer pipeline I just walked you through, and where Huawei already has hardware traction, my best guess is that Greater China obviously continues. Southeast Asia and Middle East are likely. Those are markets where Huawei already has decent share and Google dependency is lower. Maybe Russia, maybe parts of South America, and I think Africa will come after that. And here's the part I'm most confident in. Watches, fitness, wearables, maybe a tablet, anything where the value is mostly in the hardware. I can see all of that happening soon. Devices that don't need fully built out app ecosystem behind them works fine. But a phone is working apps. Working apps need working developer pipeline. And the pipeline I just walked you through, that's not something you fix in 8 months. So the HTC, the Huawei Developer Conference, is just around the corner. It's in a couple of weeks. Maybe they will drop some news that will change my mind. I genuinely hope it does. But sitting where I'm sitting today, I don't see a HarmonyOS phone with a real global app gallery ships anywhere outside of China this year. That's my prediction. Standalone HarmonyOS phone with a working global app gallery in Europe and North America, not before late 2027 or 2028. The review team, the cloud, the SDKs, the monetization, those are months and months of work. And based on what I just showed you, that work really hasn't started. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Huawei is doing a lot of things behind the scenes, but it's not something I could see at the moment. And then the developer pipeline is only half of the problem. The other half is politics. The US has had Huawei on its entity list for years. The EU keeps signaling it's going to follow. Even if Huawei did fix all of these things tomorrow, there's no telling whether it will be allowed in the market. I might be wrong. HTC, as I said, is coming up. Maybe they drop something huge. I really hope they do. I will be there. Maybe politics change. They always change. If you think I'm wrong, which I probably think you do, put something in the comments and let's discuss it.